Gordon!
Iain!
Who is tired?
Catherine Zeta-Jones?
No, you guys, what's up?
That really did catch me off guard, and you warned me.
I did. I'm thinking I better do.
Because I was thinking, oh, is it conked out again?
No, that was it. It's because I wrote this, and it was getting to like 2 a.m, and I still had to find one story, and I thought normally I'd just be like, right, I'll finish this tomorrow. I've done a lot tonight. I'll finish now. I'll find my last story tomorrow, then I'll tidy up the script, ready to go. But it was like, no, this is being recorded in like 3 hours, so I kind of have to do it right now.
I'm kind of excited because just prior to this last night, you gave me the option of 3 potential ideas that you had. And I was like, well, I'd like this one, but just do what's easy. And you were like, what were your exact words? Let me just find it. Your exact words were, nothing is too difficult for me, with a sunglasses emoji. So I'm excited to find out what you've done, and it should be pretty damn good.
It should be top tier. Oh, God. We'll soon see, won't we?
Because after all, nothing is too difficult for you.
Exactly. And I'm sure you are going to be so happy with what I have produced.
Just think about it this way, and it's not just me you'd be letting down, it's the audience at large.
Oh, God.
And yourself.
Way to really stack it on there, mate. God.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh.
I've got high hopes because nothing is too difficult for you.
Oh, God. Okay, right, you're right. But anyway, speaking of those at home, hello and welcome to episode 109 of Two Guys What's Up, the weekly comedy podcast where I stayed up late writing a story, and I'm sure it will impair my reading skills. My name's Liam. My name's Iain, and this guy is Gordon. Gordon, how are you?
Hey, it sounds like my father-in-law talking. He calls me Gordon and Simon.
So, I mean, Gordon, fair enough. At least it rhymes. Simon, I had no idea where that came from.
So my very first experience of meeting the in-laws in France, it was kind of a big deal and scary, of course. And my wife's dad just kept referring to me as either Gordon, which, as you say, I can understand that, but also Simon.
It was a test.
Yeah. And I thought, well, how many boyfriends has she had over? That was my first thought. And then it turns out, because I kept helping her dad out in the kitchen, he used to do the very same thing with his brother-in-law, who was called Simon.
Right, okay.
So I think it just took him back to that, and he just averted to, Simon, can you peel the onion?
Muscle memory.
Possibly. So, yeah, and he still does that to this day, and that was over 10 years ago.
I was just thinking maybe, like, it's a test or something like that. It's like, if he can get through an entire evening with me and not punch me after I've misnamed him 100 times, then he's the one. He can stay.
Yeah, maybe. And I feel like I've surpassed that.
Yeah, well done. You've done a good job.
You'd think after 10 years he'd drop it, but alas.
Why not, eh? Keep it up. Funny now, isn't
it? Yeah, it's just become a thing.
Nice.
But it's also how he pronounces it. Because he's Middle Eastern, he just has such a way with things. And it's great.
Does he pronounce it Jordan? And it's just you?
Yeah, maybe.
He's like, oh, Jordan, peel that onion for me, mate. He's like, my name is not Simon. Gosh. I've met him. He's a lovely gentleman.
Well, he has his moments.
Let's leave that at that. Anyway, Jordan, you went for a little bit of an excursion recently, didn't you? How was that?
Oh, yeah, up Mount Everest.
That's the one, yeah. How did it go?
I nearly died.
Ah, shame.
And then I thought, you know what, instead I'll just go to a lovely little village called Ampleforth.
Yeah, just for a little bit of R&R.
Yeah, a little bit, just to recoup.
Shake the snow off.
Yeah. Well, saying that, it was super snowy when I went there.
Oh,
it was lovely, though. Really picturesque, and I'd never been before. So I went with my wife and my dog, and it was lovely. I'd happily go back there again. But the woman at the corner shop was not very nice, shall we say.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like the only village shop that there is.
Yeah.
The whole village is a stone's throw. Like, you can just get through it in 5 minutes. And this one single shop, I don't know, she had such an attitude about her, and that kind of soured me immediately.
Yeah, so I had some good times, and I left all my equipment there, so they're going to have to deal with all that. All the snow boots and pickaxes.
Yeah, exactly. But no, Other than that, it was really nice. Went to then the next day spend the day in Helmsley. Also not a particularly big place, but it was really enjoyable.
Full of horrible shopkeepers as well.
No, they were lovely, I'll have you know.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
Just the Ampleforth shopkeeper.
Yeah.
Or maybe she's not. Maybe she's lovely and it was just late at night and she was just ready to, like, you know, just wind down, and there's me asking about stuff.
Yeah, excuse me, does this milk go out of date soon? She's like, fuck's sake, I have been working. I'm the only one who can run this shop, and I've been here since 4 o'clock this morning.
I mean, it doesn't help, does it, when I don't ask things that are relevant? So, excuse me, what is a nucleus?
Excuse me, what is scratch card? Huh?
Well, at least that's relevant. They might sell the buggers.
Yeah, but the thing is, you were saying that as you were holding up a pack of apples.
Oh, yes. All right, I give her a single banana and say, can you scan this for me? How much is this, please? But yeah, that aside, next week, I'm also off to spend a night in Leeds with my wife.
Oh.
Which sounds lovely. But I've kind of shot myself in the foot because at Christmas I ended up buying a Strictly Come Dancing tour tickets. So that's where I'll be going.
It's like one little drunken evening mistake.
She's wanted to see it for ages.
Sounds like a great idea. Yeah, it's purely for your wife's benefit.
It really is. But, I mean, we'll probably have some drinks. It'll be all right.
Nice. Yeah. Sounds like a good night then.
Anyway, how the heck are you?
Yeah, I'm not bad.
Good.
But Jordan, I've got a little thing prepared for you.
Uh-oh.
No, it's fine. You're safe. Don't worry. I will be testing your knowledge, but we'll get there in a second. For you see, I am painfully aware that we recorded our bonus episode 19 due to come out the last Friday of this month, yesterday.
Yes.
And in those 24 hours, probably nothing of note has really happened to either of us. So I have come prepared with a fact that will blow your tiny mind, Jordan. And given your love of language and keeping it proper, I think you're going to proper mega well love this one.
Okay. I'm excited.
So first of all, let me check to see if you know about it, and anyone else at home can also have a little think on it too. You see, obviously, Jordan, you know that it's is a contraction of it and is, yeah?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, like, it's. Yes.
Yeah. So can't is a contraction of can and not.
Correct.
Happy with that so far?
I'm ecstatic, you might say.
So I was thinking about this morning. Using the logic that you applied to those other words, can you tell me what two words make up the contraction ain't?
Ah, okay.
Okay, well, let's have a little test first. I'm just going to give you two sentences, and I want you to tell me which one you think sounds correct.
Okay, I like this.
Okay, so sentence number 1, it ain't happening.
Right.
Or sentence number 2, I ain't going. Which one sounds more accurate to you?
Oh, I mean, they both kind of work because of how we socially use it.
Yes, that's very true. But, for proper English and what it was, which one of those is correct?
I mean, I'd argue it's probably not proper English anyway, using ain't.
Well, it's a contraction of two words, So which one of those would be the more accurate one?
Well, let me just think about this. So the spelling of that is going to be like AIN''T, is that right?
That's the one.
Okay. And what was the other example? Like it's. So that is it with the missing I from is. So it's kind of like it's replacing isn't.
Maybe.
So is it to do with... is it somehow I'm not?
Whoa! Fucking hell, check out the big brain on Jordan. That is absolutely correct, me old pal.
So that would be the second one then, that's correct.
It is the second one, yeah.
But how on earth does that work with the I in there?
I think that's maybe just to join them together so it doesn't say ant.
I mean, what's wrong with that?
I don't know, mate. I didn't create the word. But yeah, the original combines the two words am and not. So over time, it has evolved to also be used in place of are not, is not, have not, and has not. But historically, am not was its primary origin. Very clever, Jordan. I'm very impressed.
Oh, thank you very much. I mean, that was a complete guess because I've never really thought about that.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it before, But then I wrote it this morning. I was like, what two words make that up? Because I ain't aware of anything. I used it then.
There you go.
I am not aware of anything, that starts with AIN.
So at least you used it correctly.
What can I say? I know the historical origin, mate, so I ain't going to use it out of turn, am I? Like some fucking imbecile.
I'm not going to use it out of turn, ain't I? That's really interesting, that. I like these little tidbits. They're great.
All right, well, I might do some more going forward should anything pop into my minuscule mind.
Perfect. Anyway, shall we move forward?
Yeah, well, let's do it. What have you got coming up for us today?
Well, Ian, today I've kind of got a bit of a weird one for you. A little bit of a little miniature pub quiz.
Oh.
Because I know you like the old pub quizzes. Well, I mean, you like booze, really. That's what you like. Not so much pubs, not so much quizzes, but you do like the old booze.
Will this quiz come with beer? Because if not, I don't want to do it.
It will come with beer if you've got beer in.
I do not. So
Then I'm afraid not. It is just the quiz for you. You'll have to imaginarily toast your glass.
I do have a bottle of vodka.
Oh, that works too.
Wait, I have untouched absinthe.
Oh, that definitely works.
Right, I'll be right back.
Nice. Have you got your pint ready?
I drank it on the way up.
Ah, okay. Well, we better get through this quick.
I'm seeing double.
You do wear glasses, so...
Shut up, Gordon!
you, Simon! So, anyway, that's what I'll be doing for you today.
Nice.
What on earth have you got for us?
Well, Jordan, imagine, if you will, a few friends have gathered around a board game. They're asking questions, giggling to themselves, having a great time, when all of a sudden, little Timmy's eyes begin to glow red as he levitates, pointing at the group and growling something in a dead language. All of a sudden, it abruptly ends, and now the family has a new house guest, a demon. Well, Gordon, these people have just fallen victim to the Ouija board.
Oh, you did it. You went there.
I did.
That was the one I chose.
Yeah, I thought, you know what? I'll do Gordon a favour. He's a good guy. Chops a fantastic onion.
And peels.
Oh, mate, and peels.
Garlic as well. And prawns, I'll have you know. The fiddly.
They are fiddly fuckers, but Gordon's got the dexterousness.
Dexterity?
That's the one, thanks to peel them so good. Did I mention I was tired?
Yeah, but it sounds like you've prepared a heck of a story. Shall we go for it?
Oh, mate, let's fucking do it. Now, Gordon, I am slightly annoyed.
Okay.
Because I have a full book of Ouija board tales. Not just one book, 2 books combined into one. But I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't first tell you the brief, interesting history behind said board. So I figured I'd give you a little bit of that before we jump headfirst into the shallow waters that is the horrifying world of the Ouija board. How do you like that?
Nice. Before Ouija jump head
Oh, yeah.
first.
Oh, fucking hell. Oh, that's good.
Please, yeah, I'd love to know the origins.
All right, me old pal. Buckle up then. Fasten your toes to your lugs. Grab your knees for dear life and just be prepared to be motorbike ridden through a world of hell.
Okay, yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So, long before the Ouija board became a household name, the concept of communicating with the beyond had been a practiced concept for centuries. Ancient civilizations all around the world did it, like the Chinese in around 1100 AD, where they used a form of divination called Fuji, or planchette writing, where a stick attached to a tray would write out messages from spirits. The Greeks also had their methods of communicating with the otherworldly, using mediums and oracles, and all of this is lumped under that term of divination, which simply refers to practices used to gain insight or knowledge about the future, the unknown, by talking to spirits or entities to get their answers.
Okay.
So, Jordan, can you think of any other practices that might fall under the category of divination? And I ask you this for one particular reason.
No.
Don't jump in too quickly with your answer there, mate.
Okay.
I kind of feel like divination is seen as a different category because, you know, people use things like divining rods to find water, oil, that kind of thing. But it is actually all encompassed into one massive category. So
Bullshit.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
And you'll see why. I mean, I have a full story explaining quite the opposite. But are you sure you want to go with your first answer of no? Or do you want to have a little think of some other kind of divinatory tools?
Tools.
I just mean tools as in things that are used, not like a divining hammer.
A spirit box.
Yes, yeah, perfect. Yeah, very good.
A scrying mirror.
Huh?
A scrying mirror.
What the fuck is that? You tell me right now.
Isn't that like a little mirror that you look into it and then you can sort of apparently see other things?
Oh, like yourself looking back at you.
I think, who's that ugly shit? Oh, it's me.
Oh, God, it's me, but reversed. I've never heard of that one. Very good. Yeah, look at that. We're all learning.
Otherwise, I'm out.
Okie dokie, so you got things like tarot cards, crystal balls, divining
Of
rods,
course.
pendulums, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So fast forward to 19th century America, and the country was swept up in the spiritualist movement, which promised grieving family members a direct line to their dearly departed, and it's here we meet a gentleman named Elijah Bond. a savvy businessman who saw dollar signs in the spiritualist craze, and in 1890, Bond patented a talking board with letters, numbers, and a planchette. Does that sound familiar enough to you, Jordan? Do you get where I'm going with this?
I totally get that.
Nice. Well, you want to spell it out? Because I forgot to put the answer in my notes.
To be honest with you, I'm just keeping up anyway because you haven't sent me your notes.
Do you want me to send you my notes?
I'd love that, please.
Gosh, so annoying.
By the way, just Googled while you're doing that, what is a scrying mirror used for? And it says a dark mirror or scrying mirror is one that's not fully reflective and which is used by clairvoyants for spirit contact.
Very interesting. Thank you very much.
Mirrors are less expensive than crystal balls.
Yes, they are, Google.
So buy two.
Right then, you little spoil sport. Here's my notes for you.
Thank you very much. That's lovely. But it wasn't a Bond, James Bond.
Don't you start reading ahead, because then you're going to know what I'm going to say to you, you story ruiner.
Scrying naysayer.
Not anymore. I know what they are now, all right? Cheap shit mirrors, apparently.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Bond who would become synonymous with the Ouija board. It was a man named William Fuld, an entrepreneur who took over the board's production and, in a stroke of marketing genius or blatant theft of intellectual property, claimed he invented it, and he went as far as to say that the Ouija board named itself, combining the word "we," meaning yes, and the German "ja," meaning also yes, which supposedly combined to mean good luck.
Oh, how?
I don't fucking know, man. I think it's just probably a marketing ploy.
Yeah, like how was yeah, like good luck?
I know, double positive equals of good luck. I fucking know, mate.
Or they cancel each other out and it's terrible.
Which it would seem is probably more accurate, yes.
Definitely.
So, World War I had left millions grieving, and many found solace in the idea that a simple, cheap, easy-to-use board that could be bought over the counter could bridge the gap between the living and the dead. And so the Ouija board became a staple for many looking to make peace with loss, and its popularity soared like an eagle.
Oh, nice. I don't think that's what they sound like, but go on.
Whatever, mate.
I think that's what the village idiot sounds like.
Do a dance, idiot. Sick of this.
Also sounds like that little kid from Up.
I haven't seen that in so long.
Oh, okay, I'm sure he does a very similar thing. In fact, I think it was almost that sound bit.
Well, you know, maybe that little fat kid grew up to be a big fat adult. And started a podcast with his buddy, all right?
Maybe. We'll find out.
So, with Fuld running the show, the Ouija board became a sensation, marketed as a wholesome family game for a Sunday afternoon, but with the added allure of a side of necromancy. Fuld held on to the business until 1966, where it was sold on to the Parker brothers, who then in 1991 sold the Ouija board product and all rights to Hasbro. The board was gaining popularity across America, and it was clear why. It was easy to use, required no special working, and promised messages from the great beyond.
Yeah, that seems so weird that Hasbro, the board game makers, has a Ouija board.
They are the ones that put it out. But I guess at the time, you know, when spiritualism was massive, and, you know, back in the 60s, it wasn't quite so debunked. You'd see a gap in the market, a little niche. You know, fucking PlayStation wasn't putting out an online Ouija board, were they? Nintendo hadn't invented it yet, so stick it out.
Yeah, fair enough.
So as the decades rolled on, the Ouija board found a new home in Hollywood, with films usually ending in a demonic possession or two. But it was the 1973 film The Exorcist that sealed the board's fate as a tool for terror, linking it forever with the idea of opening doors to worlds that should remain firmly shut.
Oh, okay.
Lightning strike.
Better close that window.
Yes, it's howling out there. So the Ouija board's haters have long warned of its dangers. Many see it as a gateway to demonic possession, with stories of exorcisms linked to its use. Urban legends and stories have popped up from users who have found themselves haunted and who have had unexplained deaths that followed sessions. So whether you believe them or not, these stories have clearly contributed to the board's sinister reputation, and in my opinion, it's probably just best to stay the fuck away from the damn thing.
Yeah, it's never a thing that I've ever wanted to dabble with.
Yeah, it's one of those things that if you don't understand it, just don't touch it.
Exactly. I'm sure you probably remember that little thing I told you about my mother-in-law when she was young, when she, with her friend, played around with this Ouija board when they were like young teenagers. and then it ended up spelling out a date and boy dead. And then many years later, they found that slip of paper that they wrote it on, and it ended up being a family member that died.
Interesting.
So that's kind of weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like that, and I've got a couple stories for you, which are very similar to that in a few senses.
Nice.
So, despite or because of its controversial past, the Ouija board remains popular as a party game, a tool in ghost hunting TV shows, or simply as a Halloween decoration. But this, Jordan, leads me to some real-life reported tales of some Ouija board users, and I got them from a book, so I can tell you, not one of them ends with, and they all lived happily ever after.
Yay! Okay, that sounds all exciting and happy.
Although they kind of do, because generally at the end, they get the priest in, he does some blessings, and, they, whatever it is, f***s off.
Oh, and then they all lived happily ever after.
Yeah, take that little bit back there.
All right, now I don't want to listen.
Well, I'll just end that sentence with, and I got these from a book, so they must be real. Right, so story one for you, Jordan. Buckle them fucking toes to them ears.
Oh, they're there.
As a young girl, Irene and her friends often brought out a Ouija board during sleepovers. They'd ask harmless questions like who they'd marry or how many kids they'd have. Nothing sinister ever happened. As the friends grew, their interest in the Ouija board faded.
Faded?
That's because I was going to say waned, but then I was like, what did I actually write? So I kind of faded. Where was I? As the friends grew, their interest in the Ouija board faded. They all grew up and went their separate ways. Some years later, while at uni, Irene happened upon a Ouija board in her dorm's common room and was flooded with nostalgic memories. As boredom loomed, she convinced her dorm mates to give it a little go. They quickly made contact with a spirit who said his name was Sarah. They took turns asking Sarah light-hearted questions. She answered. They were all having a whale of a time. But after a few hours, they wrapped it up, but agreed to meet again soon for another little bash at the board. They continued using the board for some time, but Irene began to feel as if her friends were becoming compelled to use it more frequently. One night, a new girl named Kristen from the floor above joined them for a session. They quickly contacted Sarah again, but this time the conversation took a dark turn. They began asking Sarah about her death and appearance. Sarah claimed she died at 23 as she was run over by a horse and carriage, and described herself as resembling Kristen with her blue eyes. When asked to clarify what she meant, because that's not obvious enough, I looked like that girl with blue eyes. Like, oh, what could you mean by that? Can you just clarify what you meant, please? Anyway, Sarah spelled out...
Idiot.
Eyes blue, that! Wanker. The girls watched in horror as Kristen's green eyes turned blue. Her features became more angular, moulding into somebody else's face. Kristen screamed, and the transformation reversed as she described feeling an electric current run through her body.
Ugh.
One of the girls moved to get Kristen some water, but screamed in absolute fucking terror as she turned to see a face peering at them through the window. But Jordan, this was a third-story room. Irene urgently asked the board, "Are you Sarah?" The planchette moved to no. When she asked what it was, it began spelling S-A-T-A. Irene thought, "F*** this," and knocked the planchette off and told everyone to leave. The figure in the window vanished, but an eerie coldness blew through the room.
Oh no. I mean, it's just dyslexic Santa.
It's me, your old buddy Santa. He was going to say, "What do you all want for Christmas?" But she was like, "F*** this! One wish, girls, what do you want? Anything, that's all. Money? £1 million? Have it." It was a long message to spell out, but,
Putting you on the naughty list for that.
Yeah. And none of the girls ever celebrated Christmas again. So now, too frightened to sleep, the girls gathered in one room. What is wrong with me?
I mean, probably quite a few things, but...
Oh yeah, I was tired, that's the one. The girls gathered in one room, listening for unusual sounds. Around 2:30am, they passed Irene's room whilst out in search for a snack, but heard an alarm that shouldn't have been alarming.
Is that not the opposite of an alarm?
Well, yeah, when I wrote that, it's like saying my fridge is broken. It's not fridging, just trying to be funny. But I failed to think about the fact that alarming is also a word. So they heard an alarm that shouldn't have been alarming. Well, it wasn't alarming. It was just an alarm. Anyway, moving on. They heard an alarm that shouldn't have been going off. So they entered the room together. They found the windows were all open and the bed sheets had been pulled off the bed. Irene's roommate bent over to turn the alarm off when suddenly her necklace starts to twist around her neck and begin choking her until she fled out, tearing them off. Convinced they were dealing with something beyond their control, well, fucking duh, the girls sought out the campus priest. He blessed the room with holy water, burnt the Ouija board whilst telling the ladies off for dabbling in the occult. Irene switched rooms, and bar the memory, going forward, all seemed well again.
Santa's pretty nasty, actually, isn't he?
Bit of a dick. I mean, if you cut him off mid-sentence, I think maybe he's got a bit of a right, but maybe a bit too far.
Yeah.
You touched the woman's alarm clock. That is a step too far for me.
I mean, I think more likely is a step too far is the necklace.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess. I forgot about that bit. Yeah, maybe you're right. Anyway, are you ready for another story, Jordan?
Hell yeah.
Oh, God, here it comes. One summer evening in 2000, a girl named Marilee and her 3 friends, out of mind-numbing boredom, decided to experiment with the Ouija board for the first time. To their surprise and excitement, they quickly made contact with an entity that introduced itself as the Joker, which is a red flag straight away. But at first, the spooky git seemed playful, offering the girls amusing and sometimes eerily accurate answers to their questions. The girls asked about his life before death, and he replied, actor. They asked, how did you die? Sick, the Joker responded.
Okay.
Over the following weeks, their sessions with the Joker became more regular, each encounter light-hearted, but it was the 4th session where things began to get dark. The Joker started interacting exclusively with Marilee, insisting that they were destined to be together, and outside of the game, typical poltergeist activity began happening in the girls' homes. Objects would move around on their own and phantom voices would whisper in the night.
Yeah, you'd give up there and then, wouldn't you, really?
Yeah, I think that would be time to karate chop that board into the next world.
Yes.
So realising they were dealing with something more sinister than they'd anticipated, the girls decided to end it. Good job. So in a final session, they commanded the Joker to leave them alone in the name of Jesus Christ. They then closed the board and burnt the fucker. And to their collective relief, the strange happenings stopped.
Oh, nice. And they lived happily ever after.
Not quite yet, Jordan. Many years later, curiosity got the better of Marilee, and she attempted to reconnect with the Joker. Not through the Ouija board though, but through meditation. And wouldn't you know it, she quickly felt his presence again and even spoke with him in her mind until the connection faded. Satisfied they had parted on good terms, she went to bed feeling happy. But the peace didn't last long. In the dead of the night, Marilee was awakened to a guttural hissing and growling of her cat. Following her pet's gaze, she saw a dark, shapeless shadow at the foot of her bed. Terror gripped her as the shadowy form began to grow larger, looming above her and floating above her head. She immediately began praying aloud, which did the trick, and instantly the shadow dissolved. And luckily, this was the end of her communications.
Thank God for that.
Spooky business, guys. Gonna say.
Don't play with Ouija boards.
That's a good start, yeah. So for the sake of time, I'm going to have to leave the stories there, but I do have to say for the sake of being fair that, of course, not everyone bought into the idea that spirits were guiding planchettes. Scientists explained the Ouija board's movements through the ideomotor effect, which is a psychological phenomenon where a person makes movements unconsciously. Essentially, your hands are moving the planchette, but your brain doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Jordan, shut up.
Okay.
Experiments were performed where participants were blindfolded or using altered boards couldn't produce coherent messages, suggesting that the so-called messages were in fact the user's subconscious mind at work. For skeptics, it was a satisfying explanation, which brings me to my theory and my final thought, Jordan. Are you ready to hear this?
Oh, go on then.
And when I said that, you probably expected to see, like a little paragraph. But I know you looking at your notes right now, you can't see the bottom of that paragraph.
I can't.
So buckle up some more. Tie wrap your nuts to your fucking eyelids. So in my opinion, based on my limited knowledge, essentially what I think is the board is useless, and it is in fact the intention of the user that summons something that comes through. So the belief or want to communicate with something makes it happen.
Right.
The board is just used as a tool of communication. Entities that live to fuck with humans are all too excited when you basically invite them in by willingly asking them to communicate with you. So using this board is you basically saying, yeah, come to me, show me you're real, do what the fuck you want. So when the board goes away, whether it be put under the bed, stuck in the cupboard, or chucked in the fire, the entity is still there, called forward by your want to communicate and given free rein to interfere with your life, which is where the horror really starts. So why wouldn't it work under scientific test conditions? A couple reasons spring to mind, Jordan. Either the participants were just thinking, yeah, let's try it, not really with the intention or actual thought that something might actually communicate. They just stuck a blindfold on, asked a question, oh, it didn't work, the end. And secondly, these entities won't work in test conditions because they won't allow themselves to be monitored or proven to exist. this. They want people to seem crazy and to be laughed at, not to be believed when they come forward with a story. So if science recognised it, they'd lose their power over us and they wouldn't ever let that happen.
Fair enough.
Or, Jordan, there is a second theory. It's all a bunch of bollocks.
There's that as well. Just to confirm your thoughts on that then, if that ideomotor effect is happening, I guess with whatever board, whether that be homemade or Hasbro's best, that's still the participants' subconscious moving that, but that's not in any way to do with the spirit or the supposed thing.
Yeah, who's to say that you're not being guided in some way by something anyway?
If you haven't watched it, and this is both to Iain and anybody listening, go back through the archives on YouTube and watch Derren Brown The Seance, which was a 1 hour live special. Kind of groundbreaking at the time. This must be like early 2000s or something. And the concept was he got a group of university students to take part on a live, essentially ghost/seance investigation, where they took part in a Ouija board, they had people in separate rooms that kind of wrote information down and blah, 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 blah. Obviously, it ended up being a total trick. And not to spoil it, but the information there was just made up. But everything came out on the board.
Right.
So it implies that it is ideomotor effect. And it's the same with like the table tipping, I guess.
Yeah.
Where, you know, your willingness or belief that something's going to happen is making it. I think it's a really interesting one, but it doesn't answer, if it's true, how people physically change. Like the eyes turning green to blue and, you know, a face morphing. But I don't think there's ever going to be any kind of evidence, either videoed or photographed of that.
I think that's probably true. Sorry, while you were talking then, I was just looking something up. So have you ever heard of something called the Philip experiment?
I'm not sure.
Right, so this was, I've just looked it up now, so I'm just going to have to condense these notes as I'm going. So it's an experiment that was conducted in 1972. It was a parapsychological experiment, and essentially they got a group of people together who didn't know each other, and they created a person, and they named him Philip, so they gave him attributes, and they gave him a name, and they said, oh, he looks like this, and this is what he was like. And when they did that, they started getting responses from him.
Oh, right, okay.
So it was this created thing that they all collectively came up with. They started getting responses from it. This is why the paranormal is so interesting, because it could be anything, right? So something could have come through and said, I'm that person, I'm Philip, you know, like when it's not, it's just some other entity or whatever. Or they could have, it could have been like a tulpa style thing where the energy that they put into it created a physical thing.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It could be, with Ouija boards, it could be something like that. So like I said, in my theory, the board is nothing to do with it.
Yes, yeah. It's the want and need to interact with something.
Yeah, a group of people are sat around this board. They've all got the same intent in mind, like, let's contact something. And the energy that they put into it either calls something to them, you know, like they light up on the astral plane or, you know, the other world, and some fucking demon's like, you're mine.
Like little light bulb comes to that room.
Exactly, yeah. And they're like, right, I know where to go now, like a little fucking pin on an Apple map. Or they just create some kind of thought form, and the energy that they put into it is given back to them.
Yeah, interesting thoughts. It does make it very hard, though, to make sense of what happened with my mother-in-law.
Yep.
That's very odd. I mean, it's probably just coincidence. That makes total sense, and it's everything we've just spoken about with ideomotor and things happening subconsciously, and it just so happens that it just linked with an actual death of somebody. I mean, it didn't say Daniel Smith on the 19th of February at 12:59 p.m.
What would be the chances of that, though?
I mean, it's pretty slim, but, I mean, it's very hard to otherwise explain that logically.
Exactly.
But it's really interesting. I love the topic, and I really appreciate you doing a Ouija board bit, because I find them interesting, but kind of freaky, and I'd never personally do it.
My parents have one.
Oh, God.
My brother got them it, because as we're all aware, my parents live in a graveyard, so what better kind of decoration than a fucking Ouija board? And that is sat as a decoration on their table in their living room.
Is it really? I've never noticed it.
Next time you are around there, I will show you.
Okay. Is the planchette on there?
I am well aware that you are not supposed to leave the planchette on the board, but yes, I think they do just leave it placed on top. Yeah.
Oh, God. Do you reckon it occasionally moves? And, like, every day it's like a new letter?
Maybe we'll have to set up a video camera.
Oh, that'd be odd. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much.
Not a problem. And now I have given you the history. Next time I come to it, I can just fucking give you a ton of stories.
Perfect. Yes, please.
Nice. I am ready to rest my mind and just sit back and listen to the content that Jordan, you prepared for us. And I am so happy that I don't have to think anymore because I'm tired. Don't know if I've mentioned that.
Oh, you did, but I'm really sorry. It is a pub / not really pub quiz.
It's a bedroom quiz. No!
It's a podcast quiz.
Oh, fine. Right. Any chance to flex my knowledge and show how fucking smart I am? I am all game for that. Let's go.
How smart I ain't. Okay. So, I'm taking this seriously, Ian, and I've got my trusty whiteboard. That's the one.
Yes. It's been so long since I've heard that whiteboard click.
I am totally ready for this. So, Ian.
Yes.
This is something that I totally stole from online, but I don't care because I thought it was great.
Play along at home, everyone.
Please do.
Tell us your score. Tell us if you're smarter than me. Doubt it, but,
It's like that old TV show, Are You Smarter Than a 10-year-old? Are you smarter than Ian?
Are you smarter than an idiot?
So this quiz is called, Is it a cheese or is it a motorway service station? So,
Okay.
here we go. What I'm going to do is going to take your answers. I'm not going to let you know until the end.
All right, fair enough.
So we'll just kind of go on through them and then we can all check our answers together at the end. So I've got 10 questions for you. Is it a cheese or is it a service station for Broden?
That has got to be a service station.
All right, you're going for a service station.
Yes.
Number 2, Trowel. Is it a cheese or is it a service station?
Trowel.
Oh, it could be trowel. I'm not sure how you pronounce that to be truthful.
I am going to say that is a cheese.
A cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Tunworth.
Oh, it's so difficult.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just at exit 95, just past Tunworth. Yeah, it's got to be a service station.
I love it, yeah. Number 4, Stitchelton.
Stitchelton.
Is it a cheese or is it a service station?
I'm going to say service station for that one.
Number 5, Old Inns. Is it a cheese or is it a service station? Old Inns.
Old Inns. Cheese.
Number 6, Bowland or Bowland.
On my cracker, I like to have a nice slice of Bowland. Yeah, it's going to be a cheese, that one, bro.
Number 7, Chevington.
Chevington.
Is that a cheese or a service station?
Service station, 100%.
Number 9, Pont Abraham. Is that a cheese or a service station? Are you turning off to Pont Abraham or are you having a lovely slice of Pont Abraham?
I'm just filling up at Pont Abraham. I'll be there. Yeah, get the kettle on. Yeah, service station, that mate.
Number 9, Gordano.
I can see this one in my mind. Gordano. Right. Darling, I don't care if you've checked my location. I'm telling you, I'm not at the hotel. I'm not at the Easy Inn next to, what's it, Pontano?
Gordano.
I'm not at Gordano Services. I don't know who Melinda is. That's a cheese.
Cheese. And then finally, Ian, at number 10, we have Derby.
Derby. That's
that
a place. I think this is a trick question.
Or
that's a place. So you're going to be thinking, I'm going to be thinking, oh, Derby, that's a place. That's got to have a service station, which I do believe it does. So I'm going to say both. Both. It's both. It's a cheese and a service station.
Well, you can only have one.
Cheese station.
That's what they call you. Are you going for a cheese or a service station for Derby?
Oh, God. I'm going to say... service station.
Okay.
God damn it.
So, Ian, I'm just going to tot up your scores for a second. How well do you think you did, by the way?
Terrible.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm afraid you got a 3 out of 10.
Are you kidding me?
Let me go through them for you. So the first question I asked was, Broden, was that a cheese or a service station? You said that was a service station.
Right.
Would you still stick with that answer in hindsight?
Mate, I have no idea. They all sound like they could be either.
They really do.
All guesses.
It was correct. It is a service station. So you were totally right that Broden is a services.
Knew it.
Trowel was question 2.
Yep.
And you told me that was a cheese.
In hindsight, that's got to be wrong, surely.
It is, in fact, a service station, and it's on the M1.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. Trowel is indeed services.
Oh, boss, I've broken down. I'm on the M1, trowel service station.
I've broken down. I'm just eating some trowel.
Yeah. Is that a cheese? No, it's a service station. Get your ass to work.
At number 3, I asked Tunworth, and you answered services. It is, in fact, a cheese.
Fucking hell.
I'm afraid. It's a soft cheese originating from the Duke of Wellington's estate, I'll have you know.
Oh, well, thanks, Welly boy.
So Tunworth is, in fact, a cheese.
Bastard.
At number 4, we had Stitchleton, which you told me was a services, and that was also wrong, I'm afraid. It is an English blue cheese.
Fuck.
Stitchleton is cheese.
What?
I mean, it does sound sort of very similar to Stilton, which I thought might have kind of given it away.
No, because there's already one that sounds like Stilton. It's Stilton, so we don't need Stitchleton.
Well, I'm afraid we fucking got it. At number 5, we had Old Inns.
Yeah, which just sounds like a fucking pub.
It does. Do you remember what you said for that one?
I think I said cheese.
You did say cheese, and I'm afraid it's a service station.
No, because that doesn't make sense. If that doesn't roll off the tongue, doesn't it? I'm just going to stop off at Old Inns. Oh, it kind of maybe it does.
It's on the M80, I'll have you know.
Yeah, well...
Never mind, Ian. At number 6, we had Bowland, or Bowland.
Yeah.
You said that was a cheese, and you were right.
Oh, thank God. I was about
You
to
were
flip
right.
out. I was about to flip this table.
It's a cheese from Lancashire. So if you said Bowland was a cheese, give yourself a pat on the back, but not if you're driving.
God.
At number 7, we had Chevington. You told me that was a services.
Yep.
I'm afraid it's a cheese, Ian.
No.
It's a semi-soft, mould-ripened cheese.
Ugh.
I'm not saying you have to eat it, but...
What the fuck were humans thinking? Like, right, we've got mould. That's bad. Hey, let's eat it.
I mean, it's penicillin after all.
Which I am allergic to.
Yeah, but maybe don't eat it.
Maybe I'm a little biased. Yeah.
At number 8, we had Pont Abraham, which you told me was a services.
Ugh, I'm regretting every answer.
And you were right, Ian.
Oh, no way. Woo!
You were right. It's on the M4. Pont Abraham
Nice.
is indeed a service station.
Sweet.
Well done, you clever bugger.
Doesn't change the fact that I still got 3 out of 10.
It's very true, but we'll overlook that. At 9, we had Gordano, which you told me was a cheese. Mm-hmm. But you were wrong. It's a service station on the M5.
The M5.
Don't. Not again.
Not again, yeah. The asphalt burns last time were enough to put me off, but I'm coming back for more.
Oh, yeah. So Gordano was, in fact, a services. And finally, at number 10, we had Derby. So you struggled a bit with this one.
Yeah, this is the one that I just couldn't get my head around, because it could be a cheese, but it is also a place. So it could have a cheese, and it could have a service station.
It could. Do you remember what you went for?
I said both, I believe.
You did, but I forced you into just one.
Yeah, God, right. I think I said service station.
You did. You said service station. But in fact, it's a cheese. I'm afraid it's a mellow cow's milk cheese from Indeed, Derbyshire.
Nice. Well, that sounds at least a little bit palatable. Just cheese.
It is.
No mould, no razor fucking blades in there, no weird shit.
I'd argue if there's razor blades in your cheese, you need to find a new farmer.
I think most people would say that about mould as well, mate. If you buy anything from the shop, apart from cheese, and it's mouldy, you'd be taking it back.
Yeah, it's also like, why do people buy ripped jeans? What's the point in that? Exactly the same thing. Or relict guitars, which is guitars that have basically been dragged over rocks. I don't know. But they all get chipped away and stuff, and people pay for it.
Yeah, knows, mate. It's the aesthetic of it. And people saw a market and they go, let's just sell this shit that is overpriced. I need to get rid of it somehow.
Exactly. So there you have it, Ian. That was a little bit of a pub quiz for you, which was, is it a cheese or is it a motorway service station?
Delightful. Thank you very much. I hate it.
I've got a few more potentially for the future, and we'll see how you maybe get on.
This should become a bit where it's like, is it an X or is it a Y?
Well, just to give you a bit of a heads up for the future, I've got one planned for, is it a bird or a brand of train?
God!
We'll see. We'll see if that pops up in the future.
How would I be expected to know that?
I don't know. I mean, you are the all-knowing Ian.
Correct.
So it should be easy.
I don't like to flex those muscles all the time.
I appreciate you dumbing yourself down to not look too superior.
That's fine. It'd be a bit shit, wouldn't it, if I was just like bang straight onto bang, yeah, correct, bang, yeah, right.
Yeah, it would.
So
there you have it, Ian. A bit of a pub quiz, but I apologise that there's no booze.
it's fine. I will hold you accountable next time I see you.
That's fine.
Put that gob to work. So, Jordan, thank you very much for that. I now can't stop thinking about mould, which is weird.
Delicious.
I never thought I'd start my afternoon full-on thought of mould. Whatever, it's happened now. I was going to go with it. And so with that, does that about bring us round to the end of today's episode, Jordan?
I think it does.
Nice. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Two Guys What's Up. Don't forget to follow the show wherever you listen to us so you don't miss another episode, and maybe even tell a friend. Take your friend to a service station and then just force feed them cheat. No, don't do that. That'd be horrible. Don't force anyone into anything. But what you could do is casually suggest a nice podcast called Two Guys What's Up, and then just see if they want to listen to it.
It's worth a punt, if nothing else.
Pump that shot.
And if you would like to get in touch with us, our Linktree link is in the bio of this episode, which you can click on and be jetted off to every link you will ever need for all your Two Guys What's Up essentials. Do you want to get your own Two Guys What's Up t-shirt? Click the link.
Want to eat a big ball of congealed mouldy milk? Click the link.
Oh, God. Want to create your own pub quiz? Click the link.
And when you click that link, it will blast you straight off to our Patreon, which is the home of all your Two Guys What's Up extra essentials, including pin badges, shout-outs, t-shirts, and if you really can't get enough of our fantastic tales and mouldy voices, well, now you can get more of each, because there are currently 19 bonus episodes right up there, ready for you to just go and have a little roll around and all that extra audio goodness. We bring out bonus episodes the last Friday of every single month, and they start for just £3 a month. Just one £3 payment, almost 19 hours of extra Two Guys What's Up content.
Bargain. So if you want to help support the show and get some cool stuff while you do so, head over to patreon.com/Two Guys What's Up to check out all the goodies over there. The link will be down below for your clicking pleasure.
But if you can't do that, but you still like to help us out, then a 5-star rating and review in your podcast app of choice would be the best and freest and easiest way to do that for us, and we would be forever mouldy.
Forever.
But on that note, thanks for listening. You all have an amazing week, and we will see you next Monday. Mouldy cheese. Bond patented.
Love the intro.
Cheers, bud. It was just harmless fun. Nothing sinister ever happened. In fact, nothing ever really happened at all. To the friends, it was just harmless fun. I fucking said that twice. This is what happens when you write a story at 2 in the morning.